The elderly woman had been dead for 3 years, but her granddaughters kept her frozen in the fridge, just to continue receiving her pension. To avoid being discovered, they bought large amounts of food with the pension, and covered it all over their grandmother's body, to hide the truth. They didn't know that the Social Security office was coming to verify the old woman's health, so they had no choice but to take the grandmother out of the fridge. But the woman frozen all over couldn't fully thaw before the staff arrived. What made things worse was that the Social Security officer arrived early. Claudia had to nervously open the door, and saw that it was a man. Claudia quickly tried to stall him, while the other sisters scrambled to set the scene. When the man entered the house, what greeted him was the elderly woman playing cards with her 2 granddaughters.
Frau, wie war es?
Seeing this, Claudia quickly pulled the man into her room. They spent the day outside. Claudia thought they had avoided the inspection, but suddenly a wild dog startled Simon, who pulled Claudia back into the house. Before they could relax, the power suddenly went out. While Claudia went to find candles, Simon opened the fridge to check if the food had gone bad. Claudia panicked. Luckily, the fridge was still full of food, which allowed them to escape this close call. But the next day, a man claiming to be a friend of the grandmother arrived. He said he had been waiting outside for 48 hours, but had not seen the grandmother. He threatened that if he didn't see her by 5 p.m., he would call the police and have Claudia and the others arrested. He then left in his old car. Claudia immediately started to put on makeup to look like her grandmother, preparing to deceive him. At 5 p.m., Agu indeed came back to the house. Although Claudia was dressed like the grandmother, she still panicked when she saw Agu. So Claudia made up various excuses to send him away. But before she could catch her breath, the doorbell rang again. Claudia thought it was Agu again, but when she opened the door to scold him, she found it was Simon from the tax office. She quickly shut the door. Then she hurried to her room to remove her makeup, and met Simon as her real self. A few days later, Claudia and the others felt it was too dangerous to keep the grandmother in the fridge, so they decided to move her body to a safer place. They got in the car and drove on the highway, but they all forgot the grandmother was still in the car. They didn't brake when they went over a speed bump, and the wheelchair flew out of the car door, carrying the grandmother towards the distance. Agu, who saw this, rushed to follow. Meanwhile, the unsuspecting group was stopped by the police. They thought they were about to be caught, but when the police opened the car door and checked, they found the grandmother was gone. At that moment, the grandmother was sitting in her wheelchair, racing down the road, until she crashed into a forest and stopped. Agu, chasing after the wheelchair, quickly approached to check. Startled, he quickly dialed for help, but just as he made the call, Agu died right there. When Claudia returned home, she found the grandmother quietly lying in bed sleeping. Just then, Simon suddenly appeared and covered her mouth. It turned out Simon had already discovered that she had frozen the grandmother in the fridge, but he didn't want to reveal the truth and lose Claudia, so he secretly brought the grandmother back. Afterwards, Simon tried to persuade Claudia to hold a funeral for the grandmother, but she insisted on continuing to keep her frozen, because only in this way could they have unlimited money.